All right, today we're jumping into a really powerful story. It's about leadership, sure, but it's also about happiness and a totally different way of thinking about success. Let's get into the story of the king who walked with his people. So, I want you to picture this. Our story starts in one of the most breathtaking places on Earth, a kingdom tucked away among the world's highest peaks. It's a place where, life just moves to a whole different rhythm. And in this kingdom, there was a king who was, well, he was different. He had this radical idea about what it actually meant to be rich and what it meant to be a ruler. Yeah, so forget about golden thrones and giant treasure chests. This king, he didn't measure his kingdom's wealth in gold or military might. His bottom line was completely different. It was the smiles on his people's faces, the feeling of peace in the valleys, and the genuine, real happiness of his nation. His connection to his kingdom was just so personal. Every single morning, before the sun was even up, he'd be out walking through the forests. And he wasn't just, looking at his land. He was listening to it, to the birds, the rivers, the wind. And his whole philosophy came down to this one simple belief, that the strength of his nation and the health of the land were totally intertwined. You just couldn't have one without the other. It was all about being a caretaker. But it wasn't just about a connection with nature. It was about his people, and that led to this incredibly unique, really hands-on way of leading. You see, the source of his real power wasn't the crown on his head. No way. The deep love and loyalty people felt for him came from something way more real, his character, and the fact that he genuinely cared about them. I mean, he didn't just rule from some faraway palace. He actually walked. He traveled to the most remote parts of his kingdom, taking on these really tough journeys himself. Crossing dangerous rivers, climbing steep cliffs, all just to meet his people right where they lived. And when he got there, he wouldn't give some big speech or issue a bunch of commands. Instead, he would just listen. He'd sit with people and ask this one simple but incredibly powerful question. Think about that, a question that puts what people need at the absolute center of everything. And the answers he got back weren't for gold or fame. They were about real, fundamental human needs and hopes. They wanted practical things like roads so they could connect with their neighbors. And they wanted hopeful things like schools for their kids to give them a shot at a bigger, brighter future. But here's what made him a truly great leader. He didn't just listen and nod, he delivered. Every single request became his mission. He worked step by step to turn every promise into a reality, kind of like climbing one of those huge Himalayan mountains, one steady step at a time. So this unique way of leading, it wasn't just a local policy. It started to grow into a whole philosophy, something he ended up gifting to the entire world, a brand new way to think about what progress really is. He called it gross national happiness. I mean, think about that. While the rest of the world was chasing gross domestic product, or GDP, this king suggested a completely different goal. He basically said a government's real job is the well-being of its people. That's a revolutionary idea, right? And this wasn't just some vague, feel-good slogan. It was built on clear pillars. He argued that real progress is measured by three things: compassion for each other, protecting your culture, and living in harmony with the natural world. So, what happened? What was the result of all this? Well, the final part of our story is all about his legacy, a legacy that is very much alive and breathing today. You can actually see the impact across generations. Kids are raised in a culture that truly values their well-being, so they grow up with this amazing sense of hope. The elders, the ones who saw it all happen, they talk about him with so much pride. He didn't just build roads, he built a nation that was united in his vision. In the end, the whole story of this king, which feels like it's etched right into the mountains of his country, it really boils down to one profound, simple truth about what it means to lead. And here it is. This is the heart of it all. True greatness isn't about being served by everyone. It's about serving everyone. It totally flips the script on leadership. It's not about power, it's about love and responsibility. And so, his story isn't just stuck in the past. It's a living, breathing thing that continues today, under those prayer flags you see fluttering in the Himalayan wind. It's a constant reminder of a legacy built on wisdom, kindness, and love. Which kind of leaves us with a question to think about, doesn't it? What would change? In our own communities, in our jobs, in our lives, what if we adopted this king's metric? What if we all started measuring success not in dollars, but in smiles?